Boris Johnson has been accused of being all talk and no action when it comes to the Northern Ireland Protocol by former Brexit Party MEP Ben Habib, who pointed out the arrangements cost an eye-watering £850 million a year. Northern Ireland remains at the centre of an ongoing wrangle between Brussels and London with respect to the controversial mechanism for preventing a hard border on the island of Ireland. Under the terms of the protocol, the region remains within the EU's single market for services, and therefore subject to many of its rules and regulations. Northern Ireland remains at the centre of an ongoing wrangle between Brussels and London with respect to the controversial mechanism for preventing a hard border on the island of Ireland. Under the terms of the protocol, the region remains within the EU's single market for services, and therefore subject to many of its rules and regulations. New research by economist Dr. Esmond Birnie of Ulster University Business School had put the cost of the Brexit Northern Ireland Protocol at £850 million a year, Mr. Habib pointed out. Nevertheless, the protocol, which was introduced at the beginning of 2021, is not due for review by Stormont until 2024, when it can only be ejected by a majority vote, unlikely given the balance of power. He added, the total cost by then will have been more than £3.4 billion. And if it is not rejected, it would then roll on for a further 4 years with at least that sum blown again. Mr. Habib, who tried unsuccessfully to overturn the protocol in Northern Ireland's High Court earlier this year, added, we know the protocol is undemocratic, having never had the consent of the Northern Irish people, as was and remains their right under the Belfast Agreement. We know the protocol is a threat to peace, for it makes second-class citizens of the province's populace and destabilizes its place in the Union. Now we have an estimate of the actual costs of that friction. We cannot afford to wait to revoke the protocol. It must go now, and the first stage in that process is for the Prime Minister to apply the protocol's safeguard provision of Article 16, allowing for its suspension. Dr. Birnie had assessed the cost of preparation and paperwork for customs clearance to bring goods into NI from GB rose an additional 6% on trade currently valued at £10 billion, resulting in a cost of £600 million, Mr. Habib said. An additional cost of £250 million a year came from extra costs borne through its trader support, digital assistance scheme and extra work at ports, Mr. Habib explained. He added, after decades of neglect, NI endures the largest regional deficit in the UK, costing the Exchequer over £8 billion a year. Adding nearly another £1 billion a year, thanks to the protocol, will condemn the province to penury. So much for levelling up the country. He added, it is an abuse of the people of Northern Ireland. And, in case he has forgotten, Boris Johnson was elected on a promise of the country leaving the EU as one United Kingdom, that should include Northern Ireland. Repeatedly claiming the protocol does not diminish NI's position does not make that true. His own lawyers and the High Court in Belfast accept the protocol has set aside fundamental aspects of the Act of Union. Mr. Habib said, indeed, at the same time as claiming NI's position has not been diminished, both the Prime Minister and his Brexit Minister, Lord Frost, acknowledge the extreme damage it is causing. This has now been confirmed in monetary terms by Dr. Birnie. And yet they still sit on their hands and take no definitive action. When even the dogs in the street know that Northern Ireland Protocol is not working, it's time for Johnson and Frost to do what has thus far so eluded them, the right thing, ditch the protocol, save our union and the people of Northern Ireland.